Yo, what's going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. Today, we're going to talk about dealing with lazy days and backward progress. And I really just want to hammer home on one main message here, and that is when you do have a lazy day or when you do have backward progress, to not take it seriously, to take accountability for the choice just for accountability's sake. And three, once you've shaken that off, to simply recommit to an action and follow through ASAP. Right? So let's just kind of deep dive more into that. Okay, so not taking it seriously, right? Not taking it seriously. In fact, I think it's better to start with taking accountability from a neutral, non-judgment standpoint of just taking ownership of our choices. And in fact, the irony is that by taking accountability in our choices, whether the choice was to, for example, go to the gym today or to not go to the gym today, taking accountability for our choices at the very least allows us to maintain a sense of personal power, right? As opposed to being a victim, as opposed to blaming things. Now, this is not to say you can just, I'm going to take a pill. Yes, of course, I chose not to go to the gym today. And we can't just make that, a justifiable excuse not to follow through, right? At the end of the day, it's your goals. But at the very least, when our reaction to a lazy day is, oh, I chose to have a lazy day because I just decided I wanted to have one, or I just decided to not be up for the challenge. At the very least, when we take ownership, it's not a mystery as to why. And it doesn't, in addition to it not being a mystery, it's also not some embellished story, right? So when we say, oh no, I took accountability, I chose not to go to the gym, and that's all it is a choice, as opposed to, gosh, I really should have, and I don't know what happened, and I swore I was going to, and I even put my shoes out, and I let the cravings get the best of me, and gosh, right, it's this drama, it's this story, it's this embellished emotional drama, and we're the main character actor in it, right? And there's nothing wrong with playing that out, right? But the whole point is to snap out of this space, take accountability for our choices, hopefully gain a sense of personal empowerment, right? And to ultimately just be freed up from baggage, so that we can move forward from this clean place of really just ready and wanting to move forward, and not like holding on to stuff from the past, or holding on to failure, or holding on to some, oh my gosh, now I gotta make up for it, and right? It doesn't have to be all that. So again, number one is to take accountability for the choice you made, whether it was to not go to the gym, whether it was to just take it easy, whatever it was. Got to take accountability for it. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is it kind of goes along with taking accountability, which is just not making it a big deal, right? Not taking it personal, not making it a big deal. In fact, creating some perception or some story that empowers you is best, right? For me personally, my how I not take it personally, or how I not just take it seriously, is just like, for example, this past weekend, I didn't go to the gym and I didn't make videos. And the reality is that, number one, I knew that would probably be the case because my girlfriend's coming back into town. I'm spending the time at her place. That's why I'm in the car right now. I don't have my usual setup at home. And I just, I figured that my priorities were going to be about her, and a lot of that time is just going to be kind of lazy time and not very structured. And here's the thing, I could have definitely made time to do it, but I didn't. And however, I was at peace with that choice. And so, right, and part of that is the consequences of that choice. So, right, so now it's Monday. right? And I'm not necessarily 3 days behind with making videos, but you know, I can certainly feel the momentum going in the other direction. I can feel there's a little bit of upset that, you know, I completely didn't show up for certain tasks or certain actions. But at the end of the day, right, like, I'm at peace with that. I made that choice. And so, right, now it's important for me to kind of recenter, regroup, and not necessarily get back on track, although that is the essence of it. Really, it's more so me refocusing, because I know that when I'm away from the home setup, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, guys. I know that when I'm away from the home setup, it's a little harder, so I have to be a little more intentional. But that's it. Right, that's it. And so, getting back to the topic of the video, it's like, okay, take accountability for my choices, shake off whatever upset I might have. Maybe I have to journal a bit. Maybe I have to just, like, I don't know, listen to a Goggins video. But again, right, just not taking it seriously. And from there, right, now moving again towards the actions and the things that matter to me, right? That's why I'm making this video. That's why I'm going to go to the gym later today. And that is the kind of final important piece, right? After you've taken accountability, after you've shaken it off, the next piece is to recommit and follow through on the next goal ASAP today, right? Because there comes a point where, okay, you know what? I was happy with my choices this weekend, had a little more fun, was a little more lazy, was a little more laid back, and that's cool. I could see the space for that. I could see the purpose in that. That's great. That's awesome. And now I could feel that not only do I have no excuses anymore, it's like I don't want to be lazy, right? I don't want to have a laid back schedule. I want to post videos. I want to go to the gym. I want to do these things. And so it's funny because sometimes we have conflicting desires. And when we have this attachment to, oh, I got to do this every day. I got to do this every day. There's no room for error. And it turns out that part of us wanted to just like have a day, but we have this conflicting belief that every day's got to be a 100 out of 100. And having a day off is unacceptable. It's ironic because we want the day off, but then we have a subconscious belief that says it's unacceptable, and that's where we get kind of caught up. So if you're at this point of the video, this is a reminder that it is acceptable to not always be on top of it, and yet you're still on top of it, and it doesn't have to be a thing, and we can totally just shake things off, take accountability, and move forward. And I'm not saying that's easy, especially if we don't have a habit of this process, if we don't have a pattern of shaking things off and moving forward. You know, now's the time to create one, right? Many people, myself included, we have a pattern of, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And then we blow it all up because we weren't perfect for 30,000 days in a row. Right? And so it's not about being perfect. It's about ratios. It's about being on more often than you're not. And yeah, it's a skill. It's a skill to do this. It's a skill to give yourself permission to have a lazy day. It's a skill to give yourself permission, have the lazy day, not make it mean anything, and then to allow yourself to be done with it and to move on powerfully and just keep going. Right? So it's a skill, it's a culture that you have to create for yourself, a standard that you have to maintain for yourself, but we all can do it. We all can do it. I'm sure you probably have lots of experience to do that anyways. Maybe you just needed this reminder. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I apologize, or I appreciate your guys' patience as I, jump around.